Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. How's everybody doing this afternoon? There we go. Right on. Okay, thank you for being here today. Thank you to Subway, our sponsor, for providing the food for us today. We appreciate them. They've been loyal supporters of us. Joel and I just got back from Arizona last night, being on a development trip. It was good to see a whole lot of folks in person. You know, it's always better to do things face to face than over the phone and email and stuff, so that was great. So anybody watching from Arizona, it was good to see you, and it's good to be home too. I'm glad that we missed that little bit of snow yesterday. My wife had stories about her car sliding all over the place already, and as the beautiful husband, of course, I was out of town, so you know, I made a lot of points yesterday, that's for sure. And we had basketball games last weekend, obviously. We split them. It was good to see us come out with wins on Saturday. That was fantastic. What we've got ahead this week, men's and women's basketball are on the road. Friday, they play at Colorado Christian, and on Saturday, they're at Colorado Mines. So we've got the Battle of the Mines on Saturday. So please make sure you follow us online through Stretch Internet. You can just get to that through GoRockers.com. We also had track and field last weekend, and I'm going to bring up Jerry Schafer and let him tell you about it. Coach Schafer, come on up.
Well, thank you. It was good for us to get started. I do want to thank Subway for the good lunch, and I'll get to finish it after I visit with you all a little bit, but I want to thank them. I want to thank all of you for coming out as well. So we did start at Black Hill State this last weekend. Usually this first meeting is just for us to see where our training has been all fall and where our kids are at. And once we competed on Saturday, we had a team meeting yesterday. We gave them spring or Christmas break workouts and final week workouts, and you know, we don't get to have anything to do with them until they get back in January. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if they come back in shape and what kind of shape they come back in, and see if they're ready to go for the meat of our indoor season starting in January. But we did have some positive results on Saturday. I guess first of all, we started with, we ran 19 new freshmen on Saturday, which was pretty incredible. This is the biggest squad or recruiting class that we've ever had in the 33 years I've been here. And so 19 of those 20-some freshmen got to compete for the first time collegiately Saturday. And to a certain extent, it looked like it. A lot of them were very nervous, you know, first collegiate competition. We tried to calm them down and say, look, it's just another meet. It's going to be a really small meet with just 3 schools, Black Hill State and Chadron. Just relax, do what you've done all fall, and we'll be fine. And what I noticed right off the bat in the first throwing event for the men, the weight throw, all of our freshmen were new to that event, and they looked like robots. So they really struggled. Probably our 3 best freshman throwers did not make the final, and our other 2 freshman guy throwers did make the final. You know, they beat the guys that have been beating them all fall. So it was kind of interesting to see that little turnaround, which meant that those other 2 guys were probably a little more relaxed when they competed in the prelim. We saw that also in the pole vault a little bit. We got some really good vaulters, and a couple of them no-heighted. Should have done better, but just was a little bit of that in all of the events, kind of feeling their way along. But the upperclassmen came out firing. A couple of the freshmen came out firing, and we had some good results. Actually had 3 people finish in first. Allie Hodgson and Corder Cropsey won the women's and men's 200 meters. And I think we've got some pictures there on the board. Allie is to the right and the upper right, and Corder is lower left. And then Jayla Jarnigan won the shot put. She's upper left, and that's kind of Jayla's specialty, although she also did well in the women's weight throw. I think she was 3rd, but she also set a PR in that event, and Brad will have a slide there in a little bit for that. Had several second place finishes as well. Kevin Thompson was listed as second place. Technically he tied for first in 7.05 in the 60 meters. They couldn't split out, he and the Shadron sprinter, on the automatic timing, which is really, really rare. And so he tied for first in that event. And then Erica Keeble was second in the 60 meters. She's a freshman. Kevin Patak ran the oddball 300 meter race. They decided to run 300s instead of 400s for this meet, and so he ran that oddball race and got second in actually won his heat. Was supposed to be the slow heat, and his time was good enough to hold up for second place. So Kayla Gagan got second place in the 600 meter, which also is a little bit of an oddball race. Addie Stratmeyer was second in the 3K and battled the whole way with Shadron gal. Came down to a kick right at the finish, and she ended up getting the second place. And then Casey Skillingstad, coming off of injury last year, did a great job. Also set a PR and got second in the pole vault. So our personal best came from Jayla and Javon Jackson in the weight throw, and then Casey in the pole vault. So some good junior and senior leadership out of those guys. So we were really pleased with the way they opened the season. We also had, over the course of the meet, we had 6 athletes amongst our freshmen and upperclassmen that moved up onto the South Dakota Lions top 10 list in their events. Actually, Erica Keeble, freshman, ran not only in the sprint, but she also pole vaulted and placed there, and her pole vault was good enough to put her on the top 10 list, as well as her 60 meter dash. So that was also an outstanding performance. Any questions?
How's the chance?
All right. Well, oh yeah.
So when do you participate next? What's your next meeting?
Well, our next meet will be January 12th. Students come back and start classes on the 8th. And so we have about 4 days of practice before that first meet. And it'll be in Spearfish again. But they have to come back in shape and ready to go. There's no doubt about that. So, all right. Thank you.
Coach, thank you. We look forward to hearing more about the meet on January 12th. No question. Next up, did Jason make it in from practice? Yes. Jason, you are next up. Coach Henry, come on up.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Subway as well. And like Kevin said, I did jump in here from practice. We have one more day on our Tuesdays of split squads and opportunity to get a little bit smaller groups and work on some detailed things. Put in some stats, and I want to go back on the floor on Wednesday. We can kind of bring them all together. It's been a good thing that we've done over the past few years. Made them a little bit bigger on the Tuesdays, but once the schedules come out for next semester, once we get it all put together, we'll have some individual ones. But fortunately, we did have a couple groups go, or one group go this morning, so I do have 2 young men here for this after to talk, and excited to have them here, and you guys can drill them a little bit, and it'll be nice. Hopefully have a few questions for them and those kind of things. So. As far as the weekend goes, the past weekend we were excited, obviously, to come in and get into the RMAC games and get going. It's always an exciting time of year. You get through the preseason and you don't know a lot about your team yet, and you get those opportunities to get through the preseason, a little appetizer before the RMAC starts. And it was a good start. We had 2 very, very good teams coming to our place with Metro, as everybody talks about, is one of the premier schools and programs in the country. Won some national championship a few years ago, and they're always in the top half in the RMAC the last number of years. So to have them come in to our place, and then a good Colorado Springs. That's just an extremely talented group, and they just do a number of different things, knock down shots, got some good posts. I think they had 3 or 4 D1 transfers again this year. So, you know, they always have plenty of talent and whatnot. But the first night game, defensive battle, to say the least, which it always is with you know, Metro being there. Is one of the teams that a lot of times they'll play like 94 feet from the basket and they'll press you the entire game. They'll drop back into a zone. They'll drop back in man. You know, we had to prepare for that all week long, and I thought our guys did a great job, probably as good a job as we've ever done from we call them the red squad, and you know, sometimes it's guys that are red shirts, guys that don't play a lot of minutes, and the kind of the scout team for you know, the teams that are coming up. And I thought they just did an exceptional job preparing us this week for that game. The problem is Metro does it like that every year. They press, they do all these things, and then the last game, they played 4 games in a row on the road and hadn't won one of those. And then the last game that they played, it was at home, and they actually won that game, and they dropped back and played man-to-man the entire time and pressed a little bit here and there, but they dropped back and played man. What they've been playing prior to that is all pressing and then back in the zone for most of it. So we got to actually prepare for, you know, twice as much stuff, which was good for us going into a game like this and getting that experience of preparing. So anyway, they did a great job of that red squad preparing for us. We handled it okay. We definitely thought we could have handled it better as far as the press, but until you see it and they're physical guys and really get into you, you know, we took that opportunity. The second half, we obviously played a little bit better, which is traditionally what you do against you know, Metro State. We did turn over too much, and we got out rebounded, which they're leading the conference in offensive boards, and I think they had 14 of them, and that's a lot of extra possessions. So if we would have cleaned those couple things up, obviously knocking down shots, doing this and doing that, you know, we would have probably ended up winning the game. But bottom line is 2 of those things to get tidied up, we would have, you know, definitely came up on top. So next night going in against UCCS, obviously that's stuff that we talked about. We didn't turn it over nearly as much in the first half. But we did get out rebounded. In fact, we out rebounded them. I think we were up like 8 or 10 at halftime as far as the rebounds go. So those 2 categories we did a good job of fixing going into the second night. And then, of course, we shot the dickens out of it. You know, we'll see some highlights here in a second, and then Jake will talk about a big-time night that he had, and then Jack did a wonderful job, too, of knocking down shots. But, you know, we're shooting over 50% from the three-point line right now, and that's something that hopefully continues. It helps out and does a lot of good things for our team and spreads the defense out and whatnot. So that was a past weekend. You know, we're confident. You know, it's nice to obviously go into the week and talk about finals. I talked to a couple people about how does that win help you. Well, the biggest thing was, yeah, it helps on confidence-wise, and you know, it's always better to win, you know, than lose. There's no doubt about it. We're still working on this. We're still working on that. But bottom line is, it's finals week now, and when you got to study for your finals and do all those things on that, especially that Sunday and now Monday, Tuesday, you know, it's a lot easier to study with a smile on your face. You know, so to get that win was a big deal on that. But now we know we got to head on the road here coming up during finals, and there's just a lot of stuff that is going on with our guys. So real quick on the highlights we got here. And we talked just to touch about Jake and knocking down shots. This was the night before. This was Friday night. He just had an incredible weekend. You know, he was, I think, 10 for 12 from the three-point line over the past weekend, which is absolutely incredible. But, you know, just some other guys that definitely stepped up. They were reading us. You can see us curl around a lot of these screens. They were into us and trying to be physical with us, and I thought we did a decent job of that. Tristan did a good job of you know, getting the touches in there and stepping through and going to his counter move. Coach Glenn that works on him just daily with that stuff, and he keeps getting better and better. But that's where you can really start spreading out the defense. You know, when you can knock down shots, they can't double team. Guys start cutting right there. You saw where Jake's guy is basically hanging on to him. A guy's able to cut to the middle of the lane. We find him and can do some number of good things on that way. Good screen coming up here by Jake. You know, just gets Logan once again, gets the ball delivered at the right time too. We talked a lot about that yesterday in our film, is delivering the ball when the guys need to get the ball delivered as well. Just a quick set that we ran. you know, for Jake, and good screen, good pass. I mean, just all together, really executed well. Obviously finished with a knockdown jumper. There's Jack getting into the action. He said, the heck with you guys. If you're going to make all these three, I'm going to join the club here. So came off of a screen there and knocked it down. Then Troy Brady, end of a half there, had back-to-back, ran the same set back-to-back and knocked them both down once again. Just did a good job of coming off the screen right. And just a couple in the second half to finish up. Ran some zone against us. I think Jake just started drooling. And he was sitting on the bench, I thought, right there for how deep he was. Another deep one, but they sat in the zone for about 5 or 6 possessions, and I think we scored in 5 of the 6. Turned it over one time when we tried to split a guy. Otherwise, knockdown shots, they had to get out of it, and then finishing it up with finding guys to finish the game there with a little turnover and a stop. Bottom line is we shot the ball very, very well. There's no question about it. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see. It's fun to be a part of. But we gave up 124 points on the weekend, and that's it. You know, so that's 60, just over 60 a game. And we keep telling our guys that that's what it's all about. And we got to make sure that we keep getting those stops. Ball's not necessarily going to go in the hole every night. We hope it does. We hope it continues to do that. We got guys that I don't think it's going to be everybody that happens to, where the shots just don't go in. But if it did, or if it is 1 or 2 of them, bottom line is you got to get those stops. So, you know, we definitely took a step from last Tuesday, took a step up on getting those stops. Going into next weekend, we do have, like I said, it is finals week. You know, we're jockeying our schedule. We don't have a class tomorrow. Well, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, Ryan, 3 years ago maybe, they split it where they go final start on Thursday, Friday, and then you have the weekend, and then you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's a little bit different. It kind of covers a 2-week period. I'm not sure, good, bad, or otherwise. You know, if it helps our guys, or you know, helps them study-wise, helps on the travel, whatever the case is. Bottom line is, that's how it's been for the last couple of years. That's what our guys are starting to get used to, and preparing and redoing classes and things. So we have a good Colorado Christian team, especially at home. They got 3 guys that are lighting it up right now. In fact, I think all 3 of them are in the top 5 in scoring, rebounding, you know, some of those, you know, big time categories, that they're scoring a lot of points. I think they're averaging, you know, close to 90 points a game. They did play last night against Schafer, did not shoot the ball very well, didn't score very well, and got beat over at Schafer. Obviously, just like all of us, they play a little bit better at home. And then we turn around the next night and play a very good Colorado Mines team. They're ranked 6th in the country right now. Going into the game on Sunday, they played, and New Poles, you know, probably going to be out here soon. Could be in the top 5, or you know, whatever the case is. Bottom line is they're good. They're good. They're very effective on the offensive side. They're very efficient on the offensive side, and they got big, strong posts and shooters around. And it sounds kind of familiar though, doesn't it? You know, that's how I feel we are too. Is we get our posts going, get those touches in there, and play off of them, and we can knock down those shots, and we think we can be very successful this year as well. So those are our games coming up. Any quick questions for me before I get the young men up here? All right, awesome. Well, Jack and Jake, and I don't know which one's which half the time, because, come on up, guys. Because I just start yelling once in a while. I started yelling, and this year I've been pretty good, though, haven't I? Yeah, I couldn't do any worse. So, but yeah, once we get going, and we do have another Jake on the team, so it makes it even more difficult if they don't know who's saying what. So our new Deli is the new name that we're calling him. He can kind of explain that to you. Jack is still Jack, but oftentimes Jake, you know, once in a while too. So, but yeah, feel free to answer a number of questions. Just introduce yourselves and anything from there. So here's the guys.
Alright, hi guys, I'm Jake Heath. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a sophomore and I'm an interdisciplinary science major for pre-health. And Coach Conley refers to me as what we wrote. So.
Jack Fiddler, I'm mechanical engineering. I'm a sophomore out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, just south of Denver. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about the weekend a little bit, and then Jack will as well. So going in, you know, we've been busy with finals and stuff and assignments. You know, we have to get them in. So you know, it was a distracting week, and I thought we did a really good job, you know, paying attention to the scout in the practices before the weekend. And as coach said, you know, the red shirt team did a really good job of simulating what the games would be like. So we went into the game against Metro. I think they were picked 5th in the preseason rankings, so, you know, and they're renowned as a good program. So we knew it was going to be tough, and they play that high intensity defense, which, you know, we don't play like that. So, you know, it was different. And after the first couple of minutes of being exposed to it, I thought we adjusted well. And, you know, the game went right down to the wire. We did give up a few too many offensive rebounds, which may have tipped the game, but I guess we'll work on that. But, you know, we had a chance to win at the end of the game, which is, and you can't ask for much more than that. So, unfortunately, we didn't get over the line, but we did bounce back the next night, and Jack will talk about that.
Saturday, coming off of the Metro loss, we all really want to have a good game. And going into that UCCS game, we all very confident, and we just shot the ball really well throughout the game. And most of all, we got stops on the defensive end. And I thought that was the biggest thing from this weekend is if we hold teams to 60 points every night, we're going to win a lot of games because we can score the ball. So just we did good on following the scout, knowing what to do on each guy. There were a few breakdowns here and there, but overall it was a good defensive performance and finishing with rebounds as well. We did a much better job Saturday night. So, yes, that was this weekend. Next weekend, going down to Colorado for Colorado Christian, Colorado Mines. 2 big games. Obviously, especially Saturday for us facing Colorado Mines is always a big one. But Colorado Christian as well, it's a winnable game. We go down there. If we play well, come back home with 2 wins, have a good finals week from there. So, anybody have any questions? Yes?
Jake, could you just start reading the dictionary? I love the way you speak. No, I got a question. Jack can answer first, and then Jake. Jack, give me one word to describe Jake, and Jake, give me one word to describe Jack.
You can't see R-rated either.
I would say Australia, was that a good word? Well, I would just say shooter. Jake's a shooter.
Yeah, mine for Jack would be energetic. I mean, he's all over the place. Hustle's probably the hardest in the team. Definitely the hardest in the team.
Keep talking.
Are there any other questions?
Saturday night, you both were kind of in the zone, right?
Yeah.
Were you feeling it? I mean, what describe it, both of you, what it feels like when when you put up a shot, 99% of the time it's going down.
Jake was feeling it more than I was, but we were going around, ball was coming at the right time, we were able to get our feet set, and once the first couple go in after that, especially when they're sitting back in the zone for Jake, just you see the rim, it's going to go, and you're taking those shots 1,000 times in that gym.
It's pretty contagious.
Yeah. They went under some screens early, and Coach Glenn spoke to me before the game and said if they go under to shoot it. So I did, and I saw the ball go through a couple of times, and I guess it felt like I could throw the ball into a pool. That's how big the basket was. So yeah, and we moved the ball really well, and it wasn't just me. A lot of other guys hit shots. And Troy hit 4 threes, I think. We were a couple too. So it was a team effort, and they couldn't guard the whole team. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Real fast. 1 year ago, talk about the difference, having been here a year, you're settled. What is the difference for you this year compared to coming in totally cold last year?
Well, just knowing like who I am in the team, I guess, and knowing what the program asks of you, and I don't have to settle this year, if that makes sense. Last year I was still finding out like who I was in comparison to the team. I didn't have a visit. I signed very late. I came over 9,500 miles, so it was tough to adjust at the beginning because in practice everything about it is different in Australia, and we had a lot more seniors and stuff. So I guess they were always at the top of the pecking order, I guess, and I just had to find my place underneath. This year, a couple of the seniors left and stuff, so I just knew that I was going to be involved a lot, and from there I got confidence, and
and you know how to handle coach.
Yeah. I know what to expect from coach, and this coach kind of knows what to expect from me, so that helps a lot. And just being a year older, I guess, bigger and stronger. I think my dad told me you guys spoke about that in the game that I've done a good job over the summer. So in the gym, I did a little bit, I guess.
You're stronger.
Yeah. Thanks, man. But yeah, so just another year under the belt. The experience is pretty hard to trade for something else.
Well, for me, I was just knowing the system this year makes a big difference over last year. Just knowing, I already know most of our sets. I know what's going on. I know defensive assignments, what's my job, and most of all, I just know my role on the team. Because I've been here, I know what I can do. I know what Coach once was asking from me. So it's just an overall understanding of what's being asked of me, and knowing what's going on in the court makes a big difference from last year to this year. Just because I'm more settled, I understand, I know the system. So that's the biggest difference.
Are there any other questions?
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. Good job. We appreciate it. It's always fun to see the players get up here and talk.
Could you talk like Jake, please?
I could try, but I would not be successful. He talks a lot better than I do. No question. Ryan Larsen, we are ready for you. Come up and tell us a little about how women's basketball is going.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Good job, fellas, this weekend. Great showing out of you guys. Coach Schafer, good to get you back up here. Missed you. Good showing this weekend. A quick story Coach Schafer and I shared last year. I told him the story that I went out for track my 7th grade year. I quickly figured out I couldn't run fast, so I wasn't going to be a sprinter. I couldn't jump far or high, so I wasn't going to be a jumper. Amazingly, I wasn't going to be a thrower. Looking at me, I wasn't going to throw weights around. And I told him I sure as heck wasn't going to run farther than a mile, so that's why I decided to play baseball. And I always thought, I'd have been a pretty good pole vaulter. Let me try this pole vault thing out. So he put me on the runway, showed me where to put my hands on the pole. I went running down there, about broke my neck, and I figured out, no, never. My pole vaulting career is quickly over, but I thought I would have been a really good pole vaulter, Coach, but no, that takes a lot of skill and talent there too. But yeah, enough about that. My 1 year of track, it was never going to be, but baseball is definitely my sport. Yeah, a good weekend for us. Very happy to get a split Friday night. Difficult game for us, no doubt about it. I'll get it out right now. I've been fielding questions about it ever since Friday. We are injured, all right? Not going to get into specifics about it. We are injured. We're down a couple post players. We had to reinvent ourselves a little bit this week. Put in a 4-guard offense on the fly. Basically 2.5 days to prepare for it. I thought our kids did a fantastic job of adapting to it. We didn't reinvent the wheel, as I like to say. We put our kids in similar positions, but just used 4 guards. And I knew it was going to take a little bit of time. I did. I really like what we're doing. It fits our personnel. Again, it fits what we did a little bit previously when we were playing 2 posts together. But it was going to take time. And you can kind of see with our offensive output, both halves on Friday, this wasn't quite clicking the way we'd want to. Well, no excuses. When you practice it for 3 days, it's going to take some time. We just didn't quite have the offensive output that we would have liked. The thing that I was probably most disappointing in, first half, we guarded pretty well, in my mind. I thought we guarded pretty well. We rebounded well. I was very, very pleased with the way we rebounded. Again, playing 4 guards, you're going to give up some size and some strength a little bit. But our kids really, really battled on the glass there and did a great job. We had a 6-minute stretch, about 6.5-minute stretch to start the 3rd quarter, where not throwing our kids on the bus or anything like that, but we just did not guard the way we were supposed to guard. And we gave up too many baskets within the way they want to score. All right, they're offensive. They run 3 different offenses. We went through them. We guarded them really well all week long. We come out and we were just flat-footed defensively, and we gave up way too many baskets, easy baskets, that you just can't give up. They went on a 12-0 run to start that third quarter, and that was kind of the difference right there. We cut it to 6 a couple times, but really never got it closer than that. We weren't able to get enough stops in a row to get ourselves back into the game, and we just weren't scoring at a high enough rate to really get it much closer. So yes, from an offensive standpoint, I'm actually very pleased with where we're at. Defensively, that can't happen. No excuses there. We knew what we were supposed to do defensively, and we just didn't get it done. And now we know. Now we know. We got a chance to watch a film yesterday, and we were getting those errors corrected, no doubt about it. But Metro is a good team. I'm not taking any credit away from them. Like I told you last week, they're in target starting 5, plus a player that was out injured the year before, who was a starter before that. They're a good team. We have to play better. Saturday, again, first half, kind of like Friday's entire game. Kind of creeping our way through, feeling our way through ourselves offensively, trying to get a flow going. I was pleased with the way we were playing offensively. Defensively, pretty good. Okay, Springs, we talked last week where they lost some dynamic players from the year before, but still very capable team. They have enough players coming back that they know what they're doing and capable of putting up some points. We did get an 11-point lead. This guy right here got greedy, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to really bring some heat on the Springs defensively and really stretch that lead before halftime. We had 4 defensive errors in a row, and my fault. I kept going to it. I wanted to get greedy and turn them over and stretch that lead. We had 4 defensive errors in a row, and we let them back into the game. It was tied at halftime. Nothing lost. Would we like to be up at halftime? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But nothing lost. We recomposed ourselves at halftime, took a couple of deep breaths, talked about some adjustments, what we needed to do offensively and defensively, and man, did we come out a much better team that second half. We gave up 10 points in the second half. We guarded really well, and again, we rebounded really well. Both teams, you talk about defensively, what was my number one concern? It would have been rebounding, and we did a fantastic job in the glass both nights. And again, give our kids a ton of credit. When you're giving up some size, all right, playing one post player, our kids really battle. And that's the toughest thing we talk about a lot, all right? Yeah, there's some really skilled rebounders out there, Anna Haugen being one of them, who had 20 rebounds on Saturday. I thought it was a school record. It's not even close. Anna thought it might have been a school record. She's got 11 more to get to even tie the school record. So that's a heck of a game by those, was it 3 people that hold that record? 2 people that hold that record. That's unbelievable. But yeah, rebounding is a skill, but a lot of it's just toughness and desiring to go get a rebounder. Okay, so our kids are doing a fantastic job there. But back to that second half on Saturday, yeah, holding the 10 points defensively, really rebound. But what you saw was a really good passing team offensively. We passed, we cut, we screened, we found open people, we passed at opportune times, and we really put up some points. And it was a really fun half to watch offensively, and I was really excited about the way we played. And we needed that. We needed it because we hadn't played a good half of good offensive basketball for a few games, and especially with this implementing a new offense, we needed to see the ball go through the hole. You need to see good things on film every once in a while too. And so yeah, we saw some defensive errors from Friday's game, but we saw a lot of good clips on offense yesterday as well in our film session of just what we're capable of doing now. And we need to play that way. With 4 guards, we're going to have to reinvent ourselves a little bit, play faster, okay? We're going to have to be harder to guard in the full court, in the half court, because we should have a speed advantage over some teams. And we're going to have to switch some things up defensively. Coach Tom Mann's going to be very, very proud of me. We got a couple different presses now. We have to use those, okay? We have to use that to our advantage. We're going to have to press people more and just try to make it more of a full court game for us, and that's something we're working on this week as well. So Brad, you want to get to those highlights? We'll start with Friday night, first half here against Metro. Very good spacing on our kids' part. Here's an opportune pass to find Anna Haugen right on the block where she wants the ball. Great pass there from Krista Showalter. Here's Coop digging a gap. Krista attacking downhill, finding Anna, kick out 3. That's the type of threes that we need to get. That's a really good possession there. Here comes Coop barreling downhill. This is what we need to do a little bit more of now. Use our speed, use our size a little bit more. Put pressure on the rim, more 94 feet. Here's a good defensive stop and a turnover and really good unselfish basketball by Sammy and Taylor there. Good hustle play by Sammy there. Kick out, Ryan digging a gap. And this is something Sammy's got to do a lot more for us right now. She's working on it, and we're starting to see it. Just getting big and scoring around the basket. And Brad liked this so much he wanted to see it twice. I do like it. That's a really good play. Again, you can see how we want to space the floor a little bit here. Great job by Ryan by just one dribble, kick out 3 to Peyton. Saturday's game here. This clip is in the first half. Simple inbounds play. This is something we work on. If the defender's sitting on the hoop, inbounder just pop out there real quickly for a little short jumper. Here's a fantastic play. Brad, I wish you would have put this in there twice. This is something that we're working on, okay? We say we're working on stuff. It's hard in a game to actually do it, but we need to get Taylor on the block a little bit more. She's certainly found her way down there. You see the results when she does get down there. Fantastic post entry here. This might have been the play of the game. I wish you would see me in the clip there, because I think I did. I might have jumped 3 feet high off the court from a squat position. Very good post entry and power layup there by Molly McCabe. Yeah, that was the most athletic showing I've had in a long time there. I was literally in a squat position, jumped straight up.
Credit card.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson. Yeah, Phil Mickelson. Yeah, credit card, I'll take it. But yeah, great offensive half for us. Really proud of our kids adapting and buying in what we need to do now. That's who we're going to be. So we just need to continue to get better at it. This weekend, I really haven't watched a whole lot of Colorado Christian. Haven't watched anything on Mines. My focus right now is on what we need to do better. It's really incredible about when you prepare all summer long, all fall long. This is how we're going to play. With 2 posts, and then boom, in a matter of days, you have to reinvent yourself. There is so much you got to cover and go over. From who's inbounding the ball, all right? Something simple as that. You have to practice it. You have to work on it. I'm not real happy, with what I wanted to do in transition. We're a little muddled right now on the perimeter, so we're trying to switch our transition a little bit so we can get more space for our kids to attack. So stuff like that, we have to fix for ourselves right now. So I'm really concentrating on more on what we need to do to get better with the style we're going to play right now. So I don't have a whole lot of information on Colorado Christian. They did get beat on the road last night at Shadron. They have a really dynamic player, first team all-conference kid back, who is scoring 17 points a game. She's going to be one of those assignments that we say all 5 kids on the floor have to know where she's at. So we do know that we'll have to shut her down. Very, very good athlete, very good player. And they got a host of other kids after that who are, averaging, good numbers that we'll definitely have to pay attention to. Colorado Mines, they lost a couple of players that were really good for them last year, but like their men's team, they just bring them in. They just bring them in, and they're playing good basketball right now. But it's all about us. About us and how we perform, and we're kind of seeing that right now, and we are more than capable of doing it. We've seen a couple games now where we played pretty average and haven't come out on top, but we've also seen when we played well what we're capable of doing, and that's what we have to sustain right now, just playing really good basketball, and we have all the capabilities of doing it. There's no doubt about it. I'm very excited with the direction that we're heading. Okay, it's going to be good to get in the gym and continue to work on what we're doing and continue to get better at it for sure. Before I introduce Taylor, any quick questions for me?
Tell us about those presses you're putting in that
Oh man,
Really?
yeah, it's fun. Actually, I got a chance to go to Sweden this summer. Past 2 summers, I was invited to do a camp over in Sweden, which is a fantastic experience. But this summer, I picked up a drill when I was over there. And I can't say the name of the drill in Swedish. It doesn't make much sense to me. But the coach that taught it to me, his name was Jonas, so we just call it the Jonas drill. And it's basically full court man-to-man trapping. And then we instituted that. This is going to fit us really well with our 4 guards. Just pick up. I'd like to do it on makes and misses. If we certainly can. It's something we're going to need to pick up the tempo a little bit more. Saw a 2-2-1 press from this last weekend. Never done that in my life. Again, Coach Richter, he talked me into that 2-3 zone this year, and it's been very, very good for us. He's talked me in that 2-2-1 zone press. I'm excited to use that more. We just got to get up and be more aggressive right now with our speed and athleticism on the perimeter. So yeah, excited about that. We got to get better. All right, I'm not just going to throw it out there if we're not ready to do it by any means, but you'll be seeing a lot more of it for sure. It's a good question.
So I see that we're ranked in the region this week, is that correct?
Yeah, our esteemed sports information director told me that this morning. Yeah, we're tied for 9th in the region, which is great. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to stay there. So we got our work to do to stay there. It's a nice little feather in our cap, but it's too early to really, think that we've arrived by any means. Yeah, it's nice, but if we were ranked 8th, come the last weekend of February, I'm gonna be very, very happy. I'll be singing a different song by then, that's for sure. But yeah, very pleased. That's great for our kids. It's great for our program. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else before I introduce Taylor? All right, you guys all know her. You've seen her play. Probably watched her play in high school here at Rapid City Stevens. You've seen her now for 3 years. We put a lot on this kid's shoulders. She guards their best player every matchup. We ask her to do a lot offensively because she's capable of doing it. One thing we need her to do is get down on the block more and get big and score down there for us, which she'll be capable of doing now. She's starting to feel her way down there and see her opportunities when to get down there. That's a nice compliment because there's not a lot of players that can do that. So she's a big-time offensive weapon for us, and just an all-around fantastic kid. If I start talking too much about that, it'll be dinner time, so I'm not going to go there. But just a tremendous ambassador for our program, and the type of kid that you want your children to look up to. So with that said, Taylor, come on up here.
Thanks, Coach. Like Coach said, I'm Taylor Molstad from here in Rapid City. I'm a junior, which seems absolutely crazy that I've been here for 3 years. I am a interdisciplinary science major pre-physical therapy. Coach talked a little bit about the games. Tough game Friday. We really just didn't come out in the second half ready to play. Obviously that 12-0 run. Just couldn't really get ourselves back into it. Saturday's game, you could definitely see that we were just clicking a little bit more. Our offense was just working. We could find each other, and that has a big part to do with our chemistry this year as a team. And I just think that's been huge. I've never been a part of a team here so far that we've had so much chemistry, so many leaders on the floor. Every time there's a different group of girls out there, there's a leader at every single one of them. They just know their roles. And as you saw in the highlight clip, that was definitely evident when we were finding each other just open and making shots, and we just need to keep doing that. So, are there any questions?
What was the difference in the locker room from the first night at half you were tied to the second night you were tied again? What made the difference coming out that second half Saturday night?
Yeah, I think we learned from Friday's night's game that Friday's night we just were content to be tied with MSU. So Saturday night we saw ourselves in the same position, and we just really wanted to go out there and put it to them like we should have done on Friday's night's game. So I think we just knew we had to get after it a little bit harder.
You have a Coach Larsen story you can share?
No.
Go ahead, Oak, this is your one chance.
You have no
This
stories,
is your one chance.
or you have stories and they're not shareable?
Oh, it's hard to think of one in particular right off the bat.
What is this
Yeah.
real vertical jump? Is it 2 or 3?
We see it a lot in practice. It's hard to measure exactly without, having the ruler right there. I don't know. Maybe a couple inches or so. Just depends on the play, really.
Tell me, post-game celebration after Burning Basin.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so we were super excited. I think we won both games that weekend, so usually after we do that, we have a mosh pit. So Sarah decided that she was going to scare Coach once he came into the locker room. We were just all going to surround him and mosh pit him. So she jumps out, scares him. He's like stunned. We start hitting him around. He's just like didn't know what to think. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. He was not expecting that. So
Scared to say the least.
yeah. Any other questions?
Any questions?
Yes, Deb.
So, you played both these teams, of course, last year. What do you think, from your perspective as a player, that you have to do against Christian and Colorado Mines to win games?
Good question. I don't really know much about either team yet, but we definitely need to defend better. That was evident in the MSU. We just didn't come out and defend. So that'll be a big key. We need to rebound, which is also important with our size. We need to make sure we box out. We just need to keep finding each other, and if we're not hitting shots, we need to find other ways to score. And I think that was one of our problems Friday night is we just weren't making any shots, and that kind of got us stuck a little bit.
Well, I answered it the same way.
I got one more question. So, finals, okay? If you wouldn't mind, just let us know how this finals causes issues or challenges, or from a student perspective, how do you handle the regular travel, and games, and finals, all going on at the same time?
Okay, yeah. So this year our finals are Thursday through next Wednesday. So most of our teammates, I don't know, my schedule, I took one of my finals yesterday and I had a final paper due yesterday. I have a final on Thursday, actually, before we leave. We're leaving at 1 o'clock and it's from 11 to 12:50, so I'll be running to the bus. But I'm going to miss one final on Friday. So what we usually have to do is we just have to talk to the teacher and find a time that works best with them, either before the final is supposed to be taken or after, and just to make it up. So I'm retaking mine on Monday to make it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job, Taylor. Thank you. We appreciate it. Hey, everybody, thank you once again for being here. Thank you to Subway for providing the food. They're always fantastic. We love them. Brad, thank you for all the work you put into making all this happen. Anita Brenneman, thank you very much. With Sandy's retirement, I really appreciate all of your help and your efforts. You're always a bright face in the department, so thanks for helping out so much. And again, just to everybody, thank you for being here today. It's December, so you know what that means. That means it's time to get online and donate to the Hardrock Club for tax purposes, or you can write me a check. You could write me a check before you leave today. You know, you could do that too. So we look forward to seeing those coming as well. Next week, next Tuesday, we will be at Buffalo Wild Wings at 11:30. We will see you then. Thank you.